We just planted out this flower bed. Our goal was to camouflage that ugly wellhead. We planted catmint all around it. That is the purple flowers. And then the light pink flowers are baby doll pink phlox. And then on the outer ring, we have Super Tunia bubblegum. And it's not going to take long for this to fill in. We just planted out these 2 pots here. I usually have one on either side of the front. And I just wanted to point out, this is a Super Tunia fuchsia. And look how beautifully it marries with the Carl Rosenfield peonies. Just beautiful, isn't it? These are wisteria. And I'm just going to support them a little bit with a very loose zip tie. There's a lot of weight on this. I mean, look at this. It is just beautiful, beautiful. Look at how beautiful. These are the Sarah Bernhardt peonies. Simply gorgeous. We are going to Rochester tonight. Our beef is ready to pick up. I'm gonna paint my nails. How great is your Dane? I could literally spend the entire day out in the garden, morning till night, and be a happy camper. However, we got a call that our beef and pork is ready for pickup. So I need to go take a shower, get cleaned up, and pack an overnight bag. We're gonna drive this afternoon to Rochester, which is about 3.5 hours away, and get a hotel room, spend the night, and then in the morning we have about an hour drive to Bailey's Farm. And it's so beautiful. It's all along Lake Ontario. It's just so peaceful. I love that drive. We're gonna pick up our meat, bring it home. I'm gonna share with you the pros and cons of ordering meat in bulk, the pricing, the cut list, the whole enchilada. But first, I need to get cleaned up, and we will see you guys on the road. My little friend, how are you? I have missed you. There's the cows. And then we have the lazy cows over there under the tree. We brought all the ice chests. This is what a whole cow looks like. Well, good morning. Ken and I didn't get home till late last night. We had dinner with 4 of my cousins in Syracuse, and we had a good time. I'll just say that. These are my 4 cousins that are going to Ireland in September, and they're applying for a special dual citizenship. Apparently we qualify because of our grandparents, and it's really quick, like less than 6 months. But the catch is you have to take all of your documentation and paperwork to Dublin. You have to be there in person. You can't do it at the consulate here for the type that they're applying for. They invited me to come along with them, but I have other plans that I can't get out of, so I'm so bummed. But fortunate for me, I have a ton of cousins. I think one time Ken and I tried to count how many first cousins. We got to 77 and we lost track, so it was just like we gave up. But I have a lot of cousins, and many of them are interested in going and get dual citizenship. So there's going to be a second wave of us, or a third wave of us, going to Ireland, and I'll be on board with one of the groups, just depending on my schedule. But anyway, we didn't put the meat away last night. We just put it in the garage. It was nice and cool. And this morning I got up early, and I packaged it into the freezers. And I wanted to kind of show you guys that. But let's go. I have bags under my eyes. I'm so tired. But I had fun last night. It was worth it. All right, let's go look at the beef. Okay, here is the first freezer. And up top here, I have, the rooster is very loud today. Up here on the top shelf, I have 7 bags of soup bones so I can make more beef stock. Now, when you do a cut list with your butcher, you get to decide like how you're going to have the beef fabricated. One of the things that we did, let me go down here to the shelf. When you do the rib section, you can do standing rib roast, or they call it prime rib, or you could do ribeye steaks, or you could do like these tomahawk steaks. Look how gorgeous those are. Look at those bad babies. I went for these this time. I've never done tomahawks before. And then I did cowboy steaks, which is pretty much the same, except they cut the bone a lot smaller. It's just like maybe 2 inches long. So we had the whole rib section made into these steaks. Aren't those tomahawks and cowboy steaks beautiful? What I did this time is I did porterhouse steaks, which has the New York steak and the filet mignon, or the T-bone, which has a smaller piece of the filet mignon, but mostly New York strip steaks. And I did those. And then in here, the butcher is so fantastic. He, the end pieces of the tenderloin, he preserved those, so I can do like beautiful, this is probably 2 meals worth, shish kebabs, something like that, because I can cut big pieces. I have 2 flat iron steaks. I have 2 skirt steaks. I did the mock tenderloin this time. I've never done this cut, and I'm anxious to try it. I have tri-tip, and let's see, what is this? Oh, this was left over from the last cow that we did. I have a pound of lone cube steak that I need to use up pretty quick. And then I think this is just flank steak. So a couple of those. Now, in February, I got 9 tenderloins, and they're all trimmed. And then the rest of these, when I purchase whole tenderloins at that place in Utica, that's $7 a pound. They always have their case lot sale. They had another one during Father's Day, and one of my cousin's daughter's getting married, and they're doing all the food. So she wanted me to pick up 25 of the whole beef tenderloins for her at $7 a pound, which is a fantastic price for the wedding. And that was about $700 for those 25, but she's coming next week to pick them up. Anyway, so I have 9 for our family down here. And then let's see what's down here. Oh, okay. This is New York strip steak that I got on sale for $7 a pound, and I got 5 of those. So I'll be able to cut those however thick we want when we have family and friends come visit us. Oh goodness, it's heavy. Let me see if I can close it. On the door here, we have 6 packages of cube steak, and there's 10 cube steaks in each package. And then these 4 packages were left over from our last beef cow, so I'll want to use these up as soon as possible. As you can see, I'm completely out of carne asada. So when I go to Trader Joe's and when I do my big stock up, I'll pick up a case of that. And then this is just beef stock. In the second freezer, we have 2 whole briskets. And then over here, we have liver. And the only people that like liver is Ken and one of my boys. The way I cook it, I soak it overnight in milk to kind of get that flavor out of it. And then just dust it with salt and pepper, garlic, and flour, and cook it in an iron skillet like you do a pork chop. And then serve it with caramelized onions, and they like it. The rest of that is going to be for doggy treats. I'm going to freeze dry it for our dog. He loves them. He'll do anything for a freeze dried piece of liver. Go figure. Now this is new. I've never done this cut before. This is a, let me see here, sirloin tip roast, a whole sirloin tip roast. It's huge. It's about as big as a basketball, and I got 2 of those. What I plan on doing with this is when we have a big crowd of people at our house, I'm going to cook this pot roast on top of the stove like my grandma did, and serve it with mashed potatoes and gravy and veggies, and just have a nice dinner at home. And it's going to remind all my cousins of my grandmother's pot roast, because that's how she used to cook it. So they'll be thrilled. I have a little bit of corned beef left over. It's already been cooked and sliced for Reubens. I need to kind of work that into the meal plan. Now, let's see. Is this more? Oh, that's an oxtail back there. I made Ina Garten's oxtail soup this last winter. It was so good, you guys. It was so fantastic. 2, I have the rounds, and those are going to be used for beef jerky. And then my one son, who's a little more adventuresome than some of us, he wanted the tongue and the heart. I don't know what he's going to do with it, but we'll see. Now, I was completely out of hamburger for months. And the one good thing about when you do your own cut list, you can get it packaged in the size that you want for your family. So these are 2-pound packages. We have ground beef here, and you can also decide how much fat you want, you know. We have ground beef here, and ground beef here. This is the deli roast beef that I processed a few months ago. And I have 1 of pastrami, but this is going to go fast. We use a lot of that. You can make all kinds of things with it. Now, on the door, we have shanks. I have enough to do 3 dinners, 2 or 3 dinners. Ken's going to be very happy. That's his favorite meal that I cook. And then the rest of it is just beef stock. This is some graph paper, and this is the first of the beef freezers. And I have each shelf labeled here. And then this side over here is what's on the door in that freezer. So on the shelf 1, I have soup bones, and then I just kind of mark how many packages I have. And then when I use it, I make like a little X. The shelf 2, we have all those beautiful porterhouse steaks and T-bone steaks. Shelf 3 is the tomahawk steaks and the cowboy steaks, and so on. And what I've done is when I have something that I need to use up, like that pound of stew meat that I have left over from last year's cow, I simply highlight it in yellow. So when I go to meal plan each week, I can quickly identify something that I want to use up sooner rather than later. That way we're rotating through all of the products that we bring into the pantry and freezer. And like I said, all of these beef fillets here, the 25 of them, they're going to be gone next week because my cousin's coming to pick them up for the wedding. And then this is representing the second beef freezer. Again, I have some items earmarked. I have 3 beef shanks that are from last year's beef cow, so I'll use those first when I make osso buco. And that's how I kind of keep track of what's in the freezer. So at the beginning of the week, when I meal plan for the week, I look here, I start with what I have on hand and go from there. And then when I actually pull it out of the freezer, I'll just mark it off. So I always have a running total of what we have in our freezers. And that's a really good system. It works really, really good. And then another thing that I did is my kitchen pantry. I did the same thing, shelf by shelf, and I was very intentional with what I put back into the kitchen pantry. And so when I go grocery shopping, I take this list in there and I use a pencil and I'll just like make a little hashtag if it's something I need to restock. And so it takes like literally like a minute or two to make a restock shopping list. It's fantastic. And I did this for the whole pantry. I have the number of some of the things I want to keep two of, like hot dog relish or chickpeas, because I make a lot of hummus and things like that. So this is just a real handy thing that took a little time to organize it and clean it out and make those decisions. But now every time I do a restock, it's just lickety split. Put a little hashtag, take this with me to the grocery store, and then I can just erase the pencil mark until I do another restock. It's fantastic. That is how we decided to have our whole beef fabricated this time. I'm trying a lot of new cuts, and we'll just see how it goes. That's going to be beef for our family for a year plus, even with all of our friends that come from California and come visit us for like a week at a time, and my crazy big family that lives here that comes sees us all the time too. And it's, you know, a work in progress. This is like the 5th or 6th time we've purchased from Bailey, and every time, you know, we just try different things and we refine it how it works for our family. It might be something different, you know, for your family. So I just wanted to really quickly go over the pros and cons of ordering a whole beef cow. The first is obviously the cost, because like I said, it's $3.90 a pound, and that's fantastic pricing. The second thing is quality. This is all grass-fed beef. The butcher does such a fantastic job. He ages it for 21 days typically. This time I think it went 28 days because of just our schedules. And you get to pick what cuts you like. You know, you could try something new. It's just pretty fabulous. The other thing that I really think is an advantage of doing a whole cow is when you do your ground beef, you can have it packaged in any size that fits your family. Like when we did our cube steaks, we did it in packages of 10, because usually I do that when we do have family over. It's kind of like a country fried beef steak, and it's just like home cooking, and all of my family kind of likes that kind of food. So when we have a mini crowd, 10, you know, maybe 10 people, we'll do that for a dinner. But I suppose the biggest drawback from doing a whole cow is having to come up with the money at one time. And a solution to that might be just the first time you buy into a cow is maybe just do a quarter of a cow or a half of a cow, and you're going to come out ahead. You know, it's just getting that money the first time so that you save so much money. That's the only thing that I can think is negative. And once you get to that point that you are able to purchase it at one time, oh my gosh, it takes such a burden off of you when you meal plan, because you have all that meat at a good price in the freezer, and you can kind of just fill in like I'm filling in with things that would be fantastic for our family. And you could do it when they're on sale. And I don't know, it's just a blessing to our family. I wanted to share the process with you because, you know, maybe the first go around you just do like a quarter of a cow, you know, you split it up with family and friends. That's a good way to do it too. But anyway, that's our beef cow adventure. We're good for another year plus. It feels really good to get that done. I had done a lot of work on the freezers because last year Ken and the boys, they kind of took over grocery shopping, And our boys went up and picked up the cow last year, brought it home, and they just kind of stuffed it in the freezer wherever it could fit. So I had my work cut out for me in January when I started the pantry challenge. I pretty much done the pantry challenge up until now, other than when we've had family down, or when Ken's parents were down, or when we went up to Becky and Mark's to see the eclipse. But I've just been meal planning from the freezer just so I could get it into shape, and I pretty much got it down to nothing. There's just like the little bit of cube steak, the corned beef, the sliced roast beef, and 1 pound of cubed beef stew, and the cube steak that I have left over from our other cow. So I think we did pretty good getting ready for this big haul, if you want to call it that. I did the same thing to my pantry. My pantry was pretty much a disaster at the beginning of the year, mainly because, you know, they had a good heart, intended well, and gladly took over some of the shopping and cooking chores. But there was a lot of stuff in the pantry that was just kind of hodgepodge, you know, stuff that I don't normally buy. And I've worked my way through it, with the exception of, let me show you. I have this little box of stuff to use up. There's some orange marmalade, some pumpkin, blueberry pie filling, strawberry cake, coconut flakes, some pumpkin spice bread, I guess it is. Just this much left, which was fantastic because in January, my pantry was so chock full I could barely open the door. So what I've been doing is challenging myself every week when I meal plan to use one item from this box. And once this is done, everything that's in my pantry is intentional. Well, that's it, you guys. That is the freezer beef journey. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and I will talk to you guys later.